It's a guy in a black wrestling t-shirt wearing a black wrestling hoodie sitting in a flat talking about the poor booking decisions of a multi-billionaire and his wrestling company. What a novel, genius idea. Anyway, this is just a short review for WWE's Elimination Chamber 2021. Oh, cat's moving about. Anyway, I watched the... What do you want? You cheeky monkey, aren't you? Get down. I watched the pre-show and it was one of the worst panel pre-show things. Everybody was fucking up everything. At one point they were talking about the SmackDown Chamber and JBL said, I said, who do you want to win the Chamber? Charlie Caruso asked fucking Booker T and Pete Rosenberg and all that. And JBL said, I want Randy Orton all the way. Nobody corrected him. He corrected himself later on, but nobody corrected him. The Street Profits came in and Sonya Deville was there saying, she kept saying, come into my office, come into my office, come into my office, come into my office. As if it's like a new catchphrase of Sonya Deville, but I don't know what's going on. And then she said, I might give Otis and fucking Chad Gable a tag team title shot against the Dirty Manky Dogs. But that match didn't happen. The pre-show match was a random Fatal 4-way because Keith Lee got taken out of the 3-way US title match between, yes, nearly I know, between Mustafa Ali, Elias, I'm doing all this without notes or a prompt because I'm pro as fuck, Elias, Mustafa Ali, John Morrison and who the fuck was the fourth guy? Ricochet. Which match wasn't no bad, it was alright. John Morrison's looked great in it and John Morrison won, and because it was obviously it's a Fatal 4-way, no DQ, all Retribution were with Ali and none of them helped. I mean, they helped at the end. They're like, oh, they attacked Ricochet. Why didn't they all just run in the ring and attack everybody and help them win? Why are they like pulling people away from pinfalls and everything? It's no DQ. Fucking help them. All of them jump in the ring and attack them. Make any fucking sense? Anyway, John Morrison won. So he's in the 3-way. Then we move on to the start of the show. The first Elimination Chamber, which was probably the best match of the night. Very, very short pay-per-view. Probably it was only about 2.5 hours the whole show, not including the pre-show. So we've got 4 of the best indie darlings from, you know, early sort of mid-2000s to late 2000s. You've got, you know, fucking Claudio Castagnoli and Bryan Danielson and fucking Kevin Steen and fucking El Generico all in this match. And you've got Uso and Baron Corbin. And I mean, everybody was sort of expecting Cesaro to win. And he got eliminated by Jey Uso. Kevin Owens got eliminated by Jey Uso just being smart. Like, it wasn't really a dick-headed heel thing to do. He just kind of trapped his arm in the cage cell chamber door and super kicked him and won. And then the final 2 we had Cesaro was giving Bryan a big swing. Uso kicked him, splash, pinned Cesaro. Oh my god, Cesaro's been eliminated. So it was Bryan and Uso. Uso went to the top, tried to do a big splash up one of the pods, and Bryan put his knees up, one running knee, and Bryan won. And before I get to the next match with Roman Reigns, I'm sick of the Elimination Chamber. I'm sick of these fucking pay-per-views that they have to have them every year. It's 2 fucking matches Elimination Chamber. It's so overplayed. It's so boring. Same with Hell in a Cell. And Elimination Chambers, there's no people taking. I want somebody to take a bump out the top of the top of the fucking pod. There's the plexiglass things that go off into the side. Just set up some fucking tables. Get somebody to set up some tables or anything. Bring some chairs in, because there's nothing. It's just people throwing each other. We've seen it. There's so many Elimination Chamber matches. They get 2 every year now, and they're just so underwhelming. But this was a good match based on, but you didn't really need to have it. You could just have a 6-man, but they're not really using the chamber. The best thing Cesaro did was did pull-ups on the top of the chamber. You know, and it's so overplayed. Elimination Chambers and Hell in a Cells should be saved for big, massive, dirty, filthy feuds. The final, the big, massive thing. Oh, this match is. These people have got such anger and such issues and such drama with each other that can only be contained within a cell or Elimination Chamber. But they don't do that. They just have them every single fucking year. They've got their own named pay-per-views, and they're boring and they're shit. So what are we gonna do? And it's WWE. So, we don't even get the excitement of light tubes or barbed wire or chair shots or, anything really exciting. So, anyway, and then we move on to Roman comes in, Bryan gets the yes lock on him, everyone's like, oh my god, Bryan's got me, clearly wasn't going to win. And his couch is off his squeaky. And then he punches the fuck out of Bryan, looked pretty vicious. And then he puts the sort of guillotine choke on and wins, and that was the match. So probably the best match of the night, Elimination Chamber, about what, maybe a half an hour, 40 minutes maybe, somewhere in between that. Was the best match of the night. Bryan won. Cesaro sort of lost his sort of push thing because he thought he was going to win to maybe get a match against Roman. And it was all for nothing, just a waste of time. Just for Edge to run out, spear Roman Reigns, go like that. He pointed at the sign, and Michael Cole and that were like, oh my god, that means he's got to WrestleMania. Doesn't mean that at all, does it? But then they've announced officially on WWE.com that he's announced Roman. Why did he not spear him and then pick up a mic and say, it's me and you at WrestleMania, big dog, tribal dog table, whatever his name is. And then, but no, he just speared him and pointed, and then he pointed again, and then the fireworks went off. So that means WrestleMania. I mean, it'd be funny if he came out tonight and just said, "Oh, I'll pick the Miz." I never said that I picked Roman, but anyway, whatever. That annoyed me. Move on to the next match, which I think was the three-way US title match, which was Riddle, Morrison, and Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley destroyed everybody. Match was pretty good. John Morrison genuinely was one of the MVPs of the show because he wasn't even booked for anything. Wasn't booked for anything, and then he had 2 matches. He was like flipping all over the place, doing big diving, spinning plunges and starship pains and everything. And towards the end of the match, him and Riddle sort of teamed up a little bit on Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley's big dominant Bobby, so dominant and dirty. Ooh. Teamed up on Lashley. I think MVP's outside with the thing. Also, it's no DQ, so MVP should be helping. Where are the other fucking Hurt Business people? Why was Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin not out to help him? It's no DQ, same with the Retribution thing. No DQ, help. Anyway, Morrison goes out, gets MVP's crutch, goes in the ring. Riddle takes the crutch off Morrison, smacks Bobby Lashley falls at the ring. Riddle hits his Bo Derek, I think it's like a jumping tombstone thing, and he wins the US title. So that match was alright. And then the next match was a fucking pain in the arse, shambles, women's tag team title match I don't even want to talk about. At the end of it, it was Reginald, who I quite like, come in and was like, Sasha Banks, use this bottle of champers to fucking hit that fucking Nia Jax whole woman. And she went, no, and the referee went, get out of here, mate, but you better take the fucking champagne away, bad, naughty, bad. And then she didn't do it, and then Nia Jax sort of fell into her and then hit her with Samoan drop, and Nia Jax with like one move pinned the SmackDown Women's Champion. And we don't even know what's going to happen with Bianca Belair. I wish they'd just announced the thing. Just say, I'm fighting you. Please, just do it. Asuka wasn't on the show. Obviously, the thing with Lacey Evans. They didn't even give Asuka another opponent. They didn't even give us another match. They could have given us Chad Gable a notice, like Sonya Deville said against the Dirty Dogs. I wouldn't have minded that. I like all the guys. They could have given Asuka somebody. They could have had fucking Bayley run in and fight Asuka. Peyton Royce run in and fight Asuka. Anybody. But no, they just decided to not even mention it on the fucking show, and that was it. They move on to the main event. There was like fucking 5 matches on the show. It was over by, in the UK, it started at midnight in the main show, and it was over by like 2:30, 20 to 3. Very, very early. Kind of about as short as Raw. But it still felt a bit like fucking 4 hours. Like the Elimination Chamber matches, especially the main event, dragged like fuck. Because obviously, you know, these like indie, I keep saying indie darlings, they've obviously been in the company, like Bryan, Cesaro, Owens, Sami Zayn and stuff. They've obviously been in the company for years and years and years now. But they're all fantastic wrestlers, and I always liked them years and years ago when I watched them in PWG and ROH and IWS and, you know, CZW and IWA Mid-South and things like that. But now, and then on the Raw side of things, it's a lot more slow, plodding. Sheamus, Drew, fucking... I mean, obviously it's got AJ Styles, who's probably the best wrestler in the match. But you've got Jeff Hardy, who's really old, Randy Orton and stuff like that. So, it's a lot slower. And for this match, we had Orton and Hardy starting off. Who else is in it? Kofi Kingston's in it. They're all former WWE champions. And you would expect, everybody would expect, I would assume, for The Fiend to turn up, come out the ring, drag him down into the depths of the ring from the chamber, or pop up in the pod and steal Orton away and he doesn't come in. But no, nothing happened. Randy Orton just got rolled up randomly by Kofi Kingston in like 5 seconds. You know, that was it. No Fiend, no nothing. Then he left. AJ Styles kind of popped out. He got Omos to like... This is another thing. So Sami Zayn's cameramen were told to fuck off from ringside by Adam Pearce. And then Omos was outside the ring. He never got told to fuck off by Adam Pearce. But then he took the thing off the chamber. And like they were saying, oh, it's not part of the rules. It's not part of the rules. And then he got sent away by Adam Pearce. Why did he let him come out in the first place? I don't understand. And also, I remember that last year or the year before, I think there was a tag team Elimination Chamber match with heavy machinery in it, and I'm sure Otis got thrown through the pod, like thrown through it and like went out into like sort of announce area a bit, and I'm sure they were like, oh, he's eliminated from the match, I think, but now this time AJ Styles just climbed around. But it would have been a lot funnier and comes in the match for no reason and tries to pick up a pinfall and people I think to even just make the match that bit much quicker on a fucking 2.5 hour show. Fuck's sake. Anyway, AJ Styles comes in, rest of the match picks up a little bit. I mean, Jeff Hardy does a fucking Sheamus and Drew batter the fuck at each other, which was really good. I mean, this is the thing people want to see, Sheamus and Drew. Anyway, but Jeff Hardy does a sort of he goes to do a senton bomb or swanton bomb fucking off the top and turns and does like a will o' the wisp, whisper in the willows onto Sheamus and Drew on the outside. That was cool. Not really much happened in it. Sheamus eliminated somebody else eliminated somebody, and then the last three were Styles, Sheamus and Drew, and you think the last two are going to be Sheamus and Drew, but nope, AJ Styles gets rid of Sheamus, and then it's going to be AJ and Drew. AJ does a big massive, it kind of looked like a fuck up, but it did kind of look cool. He did like a springboard, like senton bomb onto Drew, and then he done it again, he did a 450, Drew kicks out, or Sheamus kicks out, I can't remember, and then final spot, AJ was for normal forearm, Drew hits him with a Claymore mid-air, and Drew wins. And you think, wow, it's 2:30 now, you know, pretty quick show. And then no, because we got a little bit backstage where The Miz is speaking to MVP, and then Bobby Lashley runs out, attacks fucking Drew McIntyre, smacks his head on the announce thing, gets him in the Hurt Lock, and then The Miz comes down, tries to DDT, and I thought, oh my god. I genuinely thought when The Miz was lining up to run over to kick Drew, he was going to get Claymored and pinned. But no, the best part of the night, The Miz DDTs him, Drew kicks out, skull crushing finale, which is a terrible move, pins Drew and wins the WWE title. Fantastic, best part of the night. Because, and I know this is going to sound stupid, but I did not like Jon Moxley's title reign. I like the matches, and I like Drew McIntyre, and I like his matches, but I don't like babyface champions. It's better for a heel to be the champion and then the babyface, triumphant babyface to come back. I prefer Jon Moxley and Drew McIntyre to chase the title and then win the title at a big event, you know, rather than hold the title for like a year. Because babyface champions, it's just, I just don't care that much. It's better to have, do you know what I mean? It makes more sense. So who knows what's going to happen on Raw. Hopefully this video that I've made quickly here is up before Raw, but who knows. So potentially we're going to have, people are like, oh, The Miz might lose it tomorrow night. The Miz might lose it at Fastlane. He might, but I mean, it could be setting up for Drew, Sheamus, Bobby Lashley, Miz, Fatal 4-Way at WrestleMania. Miz gives Bobby Lashley a title shot. Drew gets a rematch, Sheamus comes in, make it a 4-way. You know, they could do all this, and then I assume nothing spooky happened with Alexa Bliss, no Fiend, so I assume something like that's going to happen on Raw to set up their stupid fucking match at WrestleMania, but who fucking knows. Anyway, that was Elimination Chamber. It was a very, very underwhelming, pointless pay-per-view that, again, forcefully raked the concept of the Elimination Chamber further and further into the grave, and I thought it was and I should have 100% drank for it. I usually drink always for WWE pay-per-views or AEW pay-per-views or GCW or ICW shows or whatever, but I stayed sober for it, and maybe that's what made me hate it even more, because it was absolutely awful. And maybe if I poured some alcohol on it I might have enjoyed it more, but I doubt it. It was shit. I mean, is it the first pay-per-view of 2021? No, second pay-per-view, the first one's the Rumble. It was shite. Yeah. Anyway, thanks, subscribe and all that shit. I might do more of these. Yeah.